What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to the Comic Fix, where tonight I am doing my top 5 of this massive stack. Now, all these books that are in this pile came this week. This was a huge freaking week for me. The biggest week I have ever had. And as a comic book fan, everybody's had this situation where they look at their comic pull list and they're like, wow, okay, I got all these different comics. And they came out all in 1 week. And I really can't afford to go and buy all these books every single week. Now, the thing I'm going to do is, in the next couple weeks, I'm going to do a calling video where I'm going to go and get all my books I have in my pull list. And I'm going to do a calling. But for now, I'm going to do my top 5 comics that came out for the first week of November. So, coming in at number 5, we have... Hi, Willie. Coming in at number 5, we have Dead Rabbits, issue number 2. Issue number 1 of Dead Rabbits, I can easily say, was a mediocre introduction to the series. And what do I mean by that? Well, really, nothing major happened. All you got in here is context about the world of Dead Rabbit. You got to introduce the main character, his problem that he's having in this book, and really nothing much else. And with this second issue, you get introduced to a couple more characters, and it just is a fun ride. Where you have a character in Dead Rabbit who went and stole all this money back in the 90s, and he's been living off of it until now. His wife has gotten seriously injured, or seriously sick, and all the money that he had is long gone. Now that he's made it known that Dead Rabbit's back in town, the people that he stole from are looking at getting back all the money that he stole. And we get introduced to a new character, a Wheelman from his past. And this is where the book is just so brilliant. I love the comedic portions of this book where you got Dead Rabbit with his Wheelman, and the book just shines so much brighter when we actually get into the story and get to deal with Dead Rabbit going and stealing some money from this bank. It's so much fun. And I can't wait to see where Dead Rabbit issue number 3 goes, because Dead Rabbit, if it's anything like issue number 2, this is going to be a really good series to read all the way through. Definitely a series that I'm looking forward to keeping on my pull list. Coming in number 4, we have Moth and Whisper. Now, if you have not read this book, it's more like a Mission Impossible. I love the cover. Like, the cover just shows, like, you got our main character coming in through here, and then seeing all the terrible things that are going on underground. And that's what you got in this book. You have this main character who is the child of the original Moth and Whisper. Now, Moth and Whisper would play... no one knew that they were together or that they were teaming up, but they would play the different mafia families against each other, and they would benefit greatly from that. Now you have the son, who is looking at getting back at the people who he thinks has murdered his family. So you got this kid going into the situation, and it's really fun. It's a Mission Impossible-esque story that is just a completely fun time. The artwork is really solid all the way through, and if you're looking for a good James Bond or Mission Impossible-esque story, look no further than Moth and Whisper. Coming in at number 3, a new number 1 by Image Comics, Auntie Agatha's Home for Wayward Rabbits. All I knew was that title, and I was hooked. I was like, look at the cute little cover. It just had so much going for it. And what I thought was just going to be some great artwork was actually not the thing that made this book special, but the dialogue. And I love this little girl. Now, this little girl, she's going through, and you see this cute little rabbit. And then you find out the cute little rabbits can talk. And I was just like, okay, I'm really digging this. But when you look at her eyes are just so big. They got this anime eyes that kind of was off-putting at first. But once I got into the dialogue and I got to find out more about this girl, it's just cute. The dialogue in here between her and this orange rabbit or the purple rabbit is perfect. Like, you got this rabbit who's just like, why do you keep on feeding me the same shit over and over and over and over? And she's like, well, I can feed you pellets if you want, like rabbit pellets. And just that whole conversation just made my day. I like the artwork. I like the story. I like the writing. The writing's top notch. And this is a story I want to keep on continuing after I think it's a 5-issue miniseries. I hope we get more out of it. Because just like this little world that I've been introduced to, I want to be more into it. Like, you got this dog, okay? This dog has been around rabbits his whole entire life. And what does it do? It thinks it's a rabbit. So it has this rabbit mask, and it's just adorable. It's adorable. And then these weird, like, ladies come in, and I cannot wait for issue number 2. If you can find this book in your local comic book shop, I would so advise you to do it. Coming in number 2, we have Sparrowhawk, issue number 2 of 5. Boom Studios. As you can tell, this was a great week for independent books. This book right here was like one of the first ones I read. And I just opened up the artwork. Oh, the artwork, the coloring shines so bright in this issue. Now you have this girl right here who has been sucked into the world of fairyland or whatever it's called. It's basically is like an Alice in Wonderland type of situation. But this girl, she finds this creature who tells her, hey, to survive here, you have to kill to survive. And once she does, she finds that she gets these fairy wings. And she gets told that, hey, the more you kill, the stronger you get, and the more, basically, no one will mess with you if you get strong enough. So you have this girl going through this adventure, and it's so much fun. That's the thing about this week. This week, there's a lot of dark and dreary comics, but this week has been a lot of fun. And you just, like, look at this artwork. This artwork in here, like, it's just beautiful. And I'm glad it's a 5-issue miniseries, because I can tell that if this artist tries to does this type of work week in and week out, I don't think the quality would be as good as what it is right now. And that's the thing about my number 1 pick and my number 2 pick, is that all of it, the art, it just sucks me in. Like, just look at the imagination in here. And that's the thing. When you got a Marvel and a DC, specifically Marvel, the artwork usually is not high quality. And then when you get to these independent books, you get trapped into a world that you don't know that you need. And that's what I have here. It's just a beautiful book that is so intriguing. I have no idea where it's going to go. Where in the first issue we had this girl who was told that she has to go and find a husband in this wealthy family. But she was been an outsider in her family her whole entire life. Her father took her from her mother, and I have no idea if he actually stole her or if she's biologically his. But when he was in war back in, like, I think the 1800s, he had a daughter, and he took her back to England to live. And she's been an outsider her whole entire life, and then being told, hey, you have to be, the one thing you need to do is keep our family name going, or keep our family positive name going, and keep the wealth going. So you have to marry into a wealthy family. And then she gets sucked into this world. And everything that she knows, again, has been turned upside down. And you have this story about this girl who is now, with the violence, she's eating it all up. She's starting to change physically and emotionally. And her whole entire being is being tested. Just a beautiful story. And the artwork is beautiful. Just a book that everybody should be checking out. And then coming out number 1 was the last book that I read this week. And that's Sandman Universe, The Dreaming, issue number 3. I have been iffy about the Sandman Universe books. Dreaming issue number 1, I really enjoyed. It really gave a good introduction to this land of the dreaming. But issue number 3 just took it to a different level. Just look at this artwork. Just look at that. Like, I would like read the panel, and I would just look at the art, and I would read a panel, and I would just be gazing at all this art. It is so freaking beautiful that it took me like 40 minutes to read this one issue, because every single page is quality. Quality is what this book is. And we got the introduction, or for me, it's an introduction to this guy who is the judge. And he has been tasked with, since Sandman has gone from the land of the dreaming, and as you can see, the crack has happened in the land, and everything is kind of becoming upside down. And the last thing that they needed was to take this guy who was locked in a box, basically a prison, and now they let him out and saying, "Hey, we need your help because our master is gone, and the world that he has created is going to shit." And it's just beautiful. When I first saw this character in issue number 2, and it was kind of like hinting to who he was, I had no context to who he was because I haven't read the Sandman books up until the point where he has been introduced. So when his introduction was happening, I was like, I didn't have the context. But this issue just gives me a lot of context, and I can definitely tell that if I have read issue number 2 and then directly read issue number 3, I wouldn't have had the problem that I had with issue number 2. Because this one just gave me such great detail on who this guy is. And just the artwork. Like, look at that. It's gorgeous. Everything that I love about comics is what this book is. It is great art, sophisticated writing, and just a story that just entertains you. And it's a book that you flip to any page, and you find so much detail that you just get lost in the book. So that was my top 5 books. Number 1, The Dreaming. Number 2, Sparrowhawk. Number 3, Aunt Agatha's Home for Wayward Rabbits. Number 4, Moth and Whisper. And number 5, Dead Rabbits. If you would have told me that this would have been my top 5 books for this week, I would have not thought that this book would be there. I kind of thought this one. Would have thought this one. I thought this one. I definitely wouldn't have thought this one. But it's amazing what happens when you read a whole bunch of books. You find the gold within the sometimes mediocre. So that was my week in comics. I hope you guys enjoyed. I do. If you like what you've seen here, I am going to be starting a little comic podcast. Just me, myself, and I for now. But it's going to be great. I'm hopefully going to start that in a couple weeks. But for now, if you like what you've seen here, rate, comment, subscribe. Tell me what was your top 5 books of the week. And hopefully next week will be a little bit lighter week than this week. All right, people. My name is David Lee, and I'll see you guys next time.